Pronto, buongiorno. Senta, qualcuno è praticamente entrato in casa sfondando la finestra e ha messo molto disordine, c'è una porta chiusa.
What if you were accused of a brutal murder that you didn't commit? What if you spent 4 years in a foreign prison, facing a media frenzy and a public backlash? What if you had to fight for your innocence through a long and twisted legal battle? This is the story of Amanda Knox, the American exchange student who became the center of one of the most controversial murder cases in recent history. In this video, we will explore the facts, the evidence, and the verdicts of the Amanda Knox case, and try to answer the question, did she really do it?
Amanda Knox was accused of killing her roommate in Italy.
Portraying Amanda as the American beauty with a dark secret throughout her trial and incarceration.
Her roommate, Meredith Kircher, was killed, and Amanda was first accused and convicted of the crime.
It all began on November 2, 2007, in Perugia, Italy. Amanda Knox, a 20-year-old student from Seattle, was living in a rented apartment with 3 other young women: Meredith Kircher, a British student, and 2 Italian students. A section of the house where Kircher and Knox lived was also rented out by a group of Italian men who were acquainted with an Ivory Coast immigrant named Rudy Gued. Knox had been in Italy for only 6 weeks, studying Italian and working part-time at a bar. She had also started dating Rafael Solicito, a 23-year-old computer engineering student. Amanda Knox was born in Seattle, Washington in 1987. She was raised in a middle-class family and graduated from Seattle Preparatory School in 2005. Known for being an outgoing and sociable student, Knox received a scholarship to study abroad in Italy through the University of Washington.
Dude, I swear to God, I don't know what it is about people who think that guys are not attractive physically, but...
On that fateful night, Knox and Solicito claimed that they spent the evening at his apartment, watching a movie, smoking marijuana, and having sex. They said they returned to Knox's apartment the next morning, around 10:30 a.m. There, they noticed some strange things. The front door was open. There was blood in the bathroom, and Kircher's bedroom door was locked. Knox said she tried to call Kircher several times, but got no answer. She then called one of their Italian roommates, who told her to call the police. When the police arrived, not because of Solicito's call, but because they had traced 2 phones that were found in a nearby garden to the home, they broke down Kircher's door and found her body on the floor, covered by a duvet. She had been stabbed multiple times in the neck and chest, and her throat had been slit. She was half naked, and there were signs of sexual assault. She had died about 12 hours earlier. The police immediately began their investigation, collecting DNA samples, fingerprints, and other evidence from the crime scene. They also questioned Knox and Solicito, who became their prime suspects. The police claimed that Knox and Solicito gave inconsistent and contradictory statements about their alibis, their movements, and their relationship with Kircher. They also claimed that Knox showed a lack of emotion and empathy for her roommate's death.
I was stressed, I was scared, it was after long hours, it was in the middle of the night, I was innocent, and they were telling me that I was guilty.
The police also focused on a kitchen knife that they found at Solicito's apartment. They said that the knife had Knox's DNA on the handle and Kircher's DNA on the blade. They also said that they found Solicito's DNA on Kircher's BRA clasp, which had been cut off during the attack. The police also arrested Patrick Lumumba, a Congolese bar owner who employed Knox. They said that Knox had implicated him in the murder during an interrogation. Knox later said that she was coerced into accusing Lumumba by the police, who pressured her for hours without a lawyer or an interpreter. She said that she was confused, scared, and exhausted.
That I had said Patrick's name, I thought it could have been true.
Lumumba was soon released after he proved that he had an alibi. He later sued Knox for defamation. In October 2008, Knox and Solicito were formally charged with murder and sexual violence. They pleaded not guilty and maintained their innocence throughout the trial. The case instantly made international headlines. Foxy Knoxy, as the media dubbed her, did not fit the stereotype of a killer. She came across as a wholesome, educated young woman with a bright future. Could she have possibly been a murderer? Or was she caught up in a tragic case of wrongful conviction? The trial was a media circus. Every aspect of Knox's life was scrutinized. Her shoes, her ex-boyfriends, her facial expressions. Supporters saw her as an innocent victim, while critics painted her as sexually deviant and cold-hearted. The prosecution argued that Knox and Solicito killed Kircher in a drug-fueled sex game gone wrong. They said that Knox hated Kircher because she was more clean and studious than her. They also said that Knox was a manipulative liar who tried to cover up her involvement by staging a burglary and pointing the finger at Lumumba. The defense argued that Knox and Solicito were innocent victims of a flawed investigation and a biased media. They said that the DNA evidence was unreliable and contaminated due to poor handling and testing procedures. They also said that there was no motive or evidence to link them to the crime. The trial lasted for almost a year, with dozens of witnesses and experts testifying for both sides. The media coverage was intense and sensationalized, especially in Italy and Britain. Knox was portrayed as either a cold-blooded killer or a naive scapegoat. On December 4, 2009, after 11 hours of deliberation, the jury found Knox and Solicito guilty of murder and sexual violence.
Chiara Knox, Amanda, Marie e Sollecito Raffaele, colpevoli dei reati loro ascritti.
They were sentenced to 26 years and 25 years in prison, respectively. Knox and Solicito appealed their convictions, hoping for a new trial with new evidence. In November 2010, another suspect emerged, Rudy Guedi, an Ivory Coast-born drifter who had fled to Germany after the murder. He was extradited to Italy and convicted of murder in a separate fast-track trial. He admitted that he had been in Kircher's room on the night of the murder, but denied killing her. He said that he heard her scream while he was in the bathroom, and then saw a man run away. He also said that he saw Knox's silhouette outside the window. Guidi's DNA was found on Kircher's body and belongings, and his bloody fingerprints were found on the wall. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison, later reduced to 16 years. In December 2010, an independent review of the DNA evidence was ordered by the appeal court. The review concluded that the DNA samples from the knife and the bra clasp were unreliable and could not be attributed to Kircher. The review also criticized the police for their sloppy and unprofessional work. In October 2011, after 10 months of hearings, the appeal court overturned Knox and Solicito's convictions and acquitted them of murder and sexual violence.
Del popolo italiano, la Corte di Assise di Appello di Perugia assolve entrambi gli imputati dai reati loro ascritti ai capi A, B, C e D per non aver commesso il fatto.
They were released from prison and allowed to return to their home countries. However, the saga was not over yet. In March 2013, Italy's highest court, the Supreme Court of Cassation, annulled the acquittal and ordered a new trial for Knox and Solicito. The court said that the appeal court had made errors of law and logic in its decision, and that it had ignored important evidence and witnesses. In September 2013, the new trial began in Florence, without Knox and Solicito, who remained in the US and Italy respectively. The prosecution reiterated its case against them, while the defense challenged it with new witnesses and experts. In January 2014, after 4 months of hearings, the court found Knox and Solicito guilty again of murder and sexual violence. They were sentenced to 28 years, 6 months, and 25 years in prison, respectively. Knox and Solicito appealed their second conviction to the Supreme Court of Cassation, hoping for a final exoneration. In March 2015, after 2 days of deliberation, the court definitively acquitted Knox and Solicito of murder and sexual violence.
We're thankful that Amanda's nightmare is over. She suffered for 4 years for a crime that she did not commit.
The court said that there was no evidence or motive to convict them, and that they had suffered a grave miscarriage of justice. However, Knox's conviction for defamation against Lumumba was upheld by all courts. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison, which she had already served. The Amanda Knox case has been one of the most polarizing and debated murder cases in modern history. It has raised questions about the reliability of DNA evidence, the role of the media in influencing public opinion, and the fairness of the Italian justice system. Knox has since become an author, an activist, and a journalist. She has written a memoir called Waiting to be Heard 1, which became a bestseller. She has also hosted a TV series called The Scarlet Letter Reports, which examined the gendered nature of public shaming. Solicito has also written a book about his ordeal called Honor Bound 3. He has pursued a career in robotics and cybersecurity. Guaid remains in prison, serving his 16-year sentence. He has maintained his innocence and accused Knox and Solicito of being the real killers. Kircher's family has expressed their frustration and disappointment with the outcome of the case. They have said that they still do not know the truth about what happened to their beloved daughter and sister. The Amanda Knox case is a tragic story of a young woman who lost her life in a brutal way, and a young woman who lost her freedom in a dubious way. It is a story that has fascinated and divided millions of people around the world. It is a story that may never have a clear answer. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And don't forget to comment your opinions below. Thank you for watching.